Hi, welcome. We're here for Cosplayer of the Month with the wonderful Zeni. And you have recently won the cosplay competition at PT.
I
So,
did.
PTLA, yeah.
Mhm.
So, welcome to the Cosplayer of the Month.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being able to be with us.
Thank you
Shall
for
we,
having me.
shall we get right into the questions?
Go for it.
Okay, so whereabouts are you placed, and how did you find Flesh and Blood?
So I'm actually located in the Bay Area, pretty close to San Francisco. We've got a lot of different shops and stuff out here. There's a lot of people, so we have a really, really, really good scene going on out here. We've got the main shop that I go to is in Pacifica. We basically hand grown the community at that shop from pretty much obscurity. Like occasionally they would meet Sunday if enough people in Discord said that they would show up, to now regularly firing UPF events every single Friday night, and in addition to armories on Sunday. That's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool seeing that grow and everything. The store owner started actually paying attention to our game. It's like, oh, wait a second, this is actually really good. There's people in our shop now. Let me, went nuts, bought a whole bunch of the Tolarian Community College boxes, and so we've been using those to help onboard new players and stuff too. That is actually kind of how I found the game initially. I was used to play Magic the Gathering. I was really, really, really into Commander, and I mean, a couple of my roommates here were really into the competitive scene for that. And then I just started feeling so bad, and then so many Magic projects started like going crazy, and everything is like secret layer, universes beyond set, universes beyond set. We're like, oh my god, this is so much. But we used to watch the professor, and he did a video one time that was hey, random video, just hey, buy the Draw My Blitz precon. This is how you can upgrade it to be competitive for like $40. I was like, huh, that's pretty freaking cool. This lady has dragons. This game looks really cool. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so like we were talking about it. We're like, yeah, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. So I was busy when for the weekend of the Outsiders pre-release, but my roommate was able to go. He picked up the sealed event. He got a whole bunch of tokens. It was like, pricing for this game is great. What is going on? So then we started, like, picked up the precons, like actually started doing events and everything, and just kind of took off from there. I became a full-fledged Dromai player and a terror of exactly two players in our local community. Like every time he sat down across me, he plays Max, and every time I
yep.
sit across from him, I'm like, buddy, I'm so sorry. And then my roommate picked up Kano, so he just
Yep.
terrorizes everybody. So
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that was where all the
Mhm.
love came from.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. And
Oh
Dromo is such a beautiful character
yeah.
too.
She really is. I'm like, God dang, if she didn't have an entire leg out, I probably would have picked her for my first cosplay. But she has an entire leg out, and I'm like, not yet. We'll get
Not yet. Yeah.
there.
So on that note, what was your first cosplay?
The first cosplay I did actually was the last cosplay that I did, the when I was young dash at US Nats, and that one was a lot of fun. It was basically a Nats is in Vegas. That's like a 3 hour drive from us. Let's go. They have a cosplay contest with cool prizes. Let's see what we can do. And so yeah, so we were like looking at the things that we were trying to pick something not too complicated that I would be able to do, because I had literally zero skills before I started this one. So it was pretty much, yeah, just a game of, okay, let's figure out how we're going to use foam to do this, what we should be doing the 3D printing on. It would be cool if we added in the lighting effects. Yeah, I have that with me right now too. It's not lit at the moment. I'll show off more later, but yeah, have my little gun
Nice.
here with me. We like actually went in and made a Teclo Industries logo for it.
Oh,
That one was
wow.
a lot of fun. Yeah, so I picked up. Okay, how do I do foam stuff? Let's start learning electronics. Let's
Yeah.
start learning 3D, like 3D modeling and 3D printing. Like, yeah, so the gun was entirely 3D printed as well. That was our first
Yeah.
like fully 3D printed prop. Yeah, we had the Teclo
Gone
core.
too far. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that one was.
pull the tickler for. It's like so good for like a first cosplay too. Like
Yeah.
just so cool.
I was not expecting to come out of the gates and immediately get in 7th place, especially considering the entire lineup that cosplay contest had. I was like,
a huge one.
oh yeah, the Taylor was beautiful, the Shiana was beautiful. There were so many people who didn't even place somehow, and I was like looking after. I was like, how did I place and they didn't? But it was so much fun. I had such a blast working on this.
Yes, I just watching from afar. It's like there was so many.
There were so many. Everybody was so good, right? Like I saw the Dunebreaker Centipede, and I was like, oh, she made a dragon. That's so cool. And
Yes, this one here.
Oh yeah. And then right next to her, the tailor, she said she hand stitched everything herself and hand embroidered it, and I was floored. It was just like that's insane. I want to be able to do that one day. That Vin set, that's right. She was so good too. It was amazing. It was like she actually walked off the cart. I was like, ooh. And I got 7th. What? How did this happen? How did I stumble into that?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful first cosplay, I feel.
Yeah. I had a ton of fun working on that. I was very, very excited to jump into doing something else after that.
Oh, okay, so we can jump into the next interesting question. What has been your favorite cosplay? So
for the ones that I've done, I will not be very brief here because I'm sure we're going to get into stuff later. Kano was so much fun and so cool, and it was so like exciting seeing everybody be like, "Oh, you fire what?" So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, but for like I've honestly also really, really enjoyed seeing a bunch of other people's cosplays, especially like the people who pick something that you would not immediately think to cosplay. Like you'll agree with me on this one. The Frightmare was phenomenal. I love that so much. I'm like, oh, they did it. It looks so good.
So good.
The guy getting his hand crushed by Debilitate this time around, that one was so much fun. My first go around, there was a guy who showed up that was Numbskull, that like had an actual arrow on his eyeball, and I was like, that's genius. That's so good. Cool. I know. I love like everybody who just picks like, okay, this is a weird card that nobody else would cosplay. I'm gonna do it. Like somebody did Sift, and it looked so good. I'm like, I instantly recognize you. You're Sift. That's great. I love it. I just love when people take the really different, really unique approaches to cosplay like that. It fills me with so much joy. But it's maybe a thing that may or may not win, but you can tell that person had so much fun, and they are having so much fun as they're going around, and they just get to be a dude. They're like a normal dude, but like I'm in a fantasy world, and you can tell, and it's great. I love it. I love it so much.
It is just amazing what. Sorry, I'm multitasking.
Totally okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's
that. Okay, Mark. Okay. So that's what my editing is going to be doing today.
Coffee segment. Move over here.
Time.
Bloopers reel. We'll just get a bloopers reel for this one. It's fine. Just count down. How many times did they drink coffee during the interview?
We definitely needed the coffee, right?
Yeah, we need it. It's fine.
All right, so I'll just go in here and go to the. There we go. Kano. All right. So now that's in the wrong place. I need a second screen.
I hear you.
Okay, what challenges did you have when building your cosplay?
Oh my goodness, there was a lot of them this time around. A lot of it was based in the actually planning out how the heck are we going to do some of these bits? Because if you look at the original Kano art and all of those little fiddly bits and all of the complex details and the fact they were trying to do effects on top of it, it was just like, how the heck? So we're like, okay, get a jump on this early, get the staff done. Luckily, my roommate, the one in the previous photo, he's significantly better than I am at 3D modeling, so he handled a big bulk of that, and then we got it and started printing it. And we're like, then we had the actual solid piece, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna put that to this. So that's done. We have the staff done. And at least the body of it is built. We're gonna put that to the side. We'll figure out how to do stuff with that later. And then it was like, okay, frick, how do we do the shoulders? We're gonna do the shoulders later too. Or how do we do the fire effects? We'll talk more about that later. But it was just so much of it was just, okay, how the heck are we actually going to do this? And, you know, an unfortunate amount of procrastination as we were like doing our research and being like, okay, how do we do this? How are we going to like get everything? So we were taking it slow. We're like, okay, shoulders, start simple. We're going to make a pattern. We're going to we'll figure out the shape that we want them in. And then we'll figure out a little bit of heat shaping to them, you know, and then freaking painting. Oh my God. I spent like so we like did the base coat of gold. So that way everything was the same gold. And we were like, okay. Oh my God. All of the patterns on his shoulder armor are insane. So I was literally just sitting down with the art in front of me for like 3 hours, like with holding each of them like very carefully, just okay, base sketch. We're gonna get this as close as we can. And then I have to figure out how am I gonna mirror this onto the backside? And then how do I get it as close as possible on the other side? So we sank at least several, like 2 or 3 evenings into getting those painted up. Sash also had its own fun amount of issues. So each of those scales is 3D printed. We just pretty much jotted out, okay, this is the shape that we want. Just ran the printer just over and over and over and over, print the scale. For the little round ones, they had a smooth coating of resin on them. And then we painted them. And then we're like, okay, so we have all of our pieces. We have the idea of how this is going to go together. Now, how does it actually go together? Because it did not work the way we thought it was going to at first. So that one was some trial and error. We got a sewing machine to help out working with on this cosplay for some of the pieces. I still did a decent amount of hand sewing because all of those little crazy shapes on that front drape piece were insane, and it was like I'm not going to be able to do the sewing machine for some of these, but like getting the sewing machine and figuring out how to make it work and realizing half of the errors that I had was because the thread was threaded incorrectly on the sewing machine, because there's one little piece that like goes all the way to the back that you have to get the thread around, and I did not realize it, and so I kept jamming, but then like figured that out. It's like, okay, now this thing actually works pretty good. And then we did a little bit of hand sculpting too on the belt buckle. Like that was another one where take the image, like get a 3D printed base for it. We just dropped the art into Blender. We traced around it, got the vertices and everything, and we printed a somewhat 3D base. But for like all of the ridging and stuff, we're like, okay, that's just going to be easier to just hand sculpt. So we just took some air dry clay and just sculpted on top of it. Oh, buddy.
Oh, that's a piece that you barely even see, that chest piece as well. Oh.
Yeah, no, but that one was another one. We're like, okay, that one is going to be most comfortable if we make it out of foam. So we made it out of foam. We got it heat shaped and heat formed and everything. And we were going back and forth how to do the detailing on it. I was thinking, okay, maybe we can use like just regular 3D printer filament or anything like that. But we had enough foam and like enough foam scraps that we were like, okay, it's actually probably going to be a little bit better and will be a little bit more pronounced if we use these actual foam pieces is for get them spray painted and colored up.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely had the impact. I really like this picture, which is why
Oh,
I used it in the.
that was so much fun. That was so fun. We asked James if he would honor us with the photo, and he's like, yeah, sure, yeah. So yeah, we'll do the business photo first, the handshake and everything, and then here, it'd be really fun if you just took one where you just like shoved your staff in my face. I was like, okay, so I like stands up and everything, and I'm like trying to give the guy some space because I'm like, this is a thing. Most people don't like things in his face, and so he's doing his little pose and everything. And he was like, "Oh no, get in there." I'm like, "Okay." So I shuffled a little bit closer. I got it a little bit closer. He's like, "Nah, get in there. Really look like you're destroying me." Like, okay, let's go for it. And he's like, "No." And that was how that one. That was how that one came about. He was
Beautiful, cool
he was
picture.
having so much fun with it. You could tell, and it really got me into that moment too. I was like, "Yeah, this is cool."
3D printing
Mhm.
and modeling. So this is something a lot of people on the Discord are just dipping their toes in. I've got a printer and not used it yet. I work all the time, and I'm not really a very good excuse, but modeling and 3D printing is a skill, and people need to understand that it is a skill alongside all the other things, like you did fabric and you did foam. You actually had a lot of skills within that whole thing. But do you have any advice for people trying out 3D modeling and printing? Is there anything? I mean, I know you did it as a team effort.
It is an absolute thing to get into. There are a lot of different softwares and stuff out there. The best one is probably the free one that a lot of people have a lot of problems with, Blender. Which like within reason, that program can do an frankly insane amount of things, right? Like it can make movies, it can make games, you can do modeling, you can do 2D stuff, if you can do special effects, you can do like all kinds of crazy stuff. But like if you literally just focus, okay, I'm just going to learn about 3D modeling, that makes it a lot easier because that's 90% of the features on there that you don't have to touch now. I'm just learning and just starting with like simple organic shapes. Like the program has a lot of different shapes that you can just drop in there. Using those wherever you can in order to make things easier for you, so you're not handcrafting literally everything. It has the Boolean joints also to make things significantly easier. It can do joining, you can do subtracting, you can do I want just the union between those pieces, makes it a lot easier. And then just taking the vertices from there, just bit by bit, pulling them, adding them in as you need them, subtracting them. Just manually pushing and pulling everything until you can get to the shape that you're looking for. Using shortcuts wherever you can helps too, because they have a pathfinding tool. So if you have your reference photo and you're like, okay, I want to make, like for example, this gun. I would like to make our gun, please. So you just take your reference image, drop it in. Yeah. If you trace out the outline, you can extrude that, and then join a bunch of things up with it, fill it in, and then you have a very good solid base where you can just, okay, this point needs to be out here for this one. This one needs to be in a little bit more.
I think you have a picture of the Tekla core on the 3D.
Yeah, I do.
I'll bring that up, and then that might give people a bit of reference.
Yeah, that one was another really good example. Like that thing, if you just went through and hand sculpted like from scratch that Tekla core, it would have been insane. But we're like, okay, like looking at this image, this thing is so many circles. So we're just going to use as many of the circle tool as possible to make our life as easy as possible with this one. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so that was literally just, okay, circle, circle, circle. Cut this, like cut here. We need a hole here for the thing, and just building it up from there. Yeah, there's our reference image on the side too. References are so insanely helpful. The more angles that you can get of a thing, the better. Like even if you're just, okay, this is a prop that does not have a concept sheet. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to draw out my top view, I'm going to draw out my side view, my front view, my back view. That way I'd know from every angle what I want this thing to look like, and you can just work with it from there. It is not easy. It takes a long time to learn and get good at it, but like every single shortcut that you can find and you can use and you can take helps. The 3D printing aspect of it, there's a lot of different kinds of 3D printing. There's the resin printers, which are very good for very small detailed things. SLA, I think that one's a little bit less out there. That's the one where they they have like a powder that they use for printing. And then, the one that we have, this one right here, is an FDM printer. For a lot of our props, we were gonna need for like pretty sizable components, and we wanted them to be pretty sturdy, and we wanted them to be easy to replicate for when inevitably something messed up on it. So, so that was why we went with this one, and a lot of that is just it. We were using the Kira slicer for a lot of it, and just give it a try, see what failed, see what the internet says, try to fix it. You know, not too much fiddling with like the temperature or anything like that. It's just for a lot of it, it's just figure out the support system that it needed. And then once we were happy with them, we got the pieces. Obviously, the slight downside of FDM is it does have noticeable layer lines, but you can usually, if you're careful with those and like careful with your modeling and everything around it, they're usually either pretty easy to either sand or what we did with the staff, which is just cover it with a layer of UV resin, and it will get rid of pretty much most of them, and the props look phenomenal, especially once you're able to throw your paint on and everything. It just makes everything come together.
Yeah. So this was actually a question that was asked in the Discord, and suggested there should be one that we add to our list of normal questions. So this was the serious question that Hendrik put in. There is a question later. What is your favorite material to work with?
I actually really liked doing things with fabric on both of these projects. Anything where I am using my hands and like I get to actually physically see what I'm doing, and like get to actually physically see as like pieces of fabric are coming together, you know, or like adding this little thing and it makes like it's just making the whole piece come together. That was very rewarding for me because it was very instant and immediate. Like the 3D printing and stuff, that is all very, very, very cool. That is very time consuming, and a lot of it is staring at a screen and trying to figure out if a thing looks right. You know, same with like painting and everything. Like painting is actually a lot of fun too, because it is very rewarding seeing the thing come together. Like you start adding the weathering or something like that, and it's just like, you know. But I was really, really, really enjoying the sewing, and whatever I do next, I think
there's a lot of sewing there, right?
Yeah, especially the front side of it had more of it. This was a skirt that we modified to make my life a little bit easier, but there is definitely like making it comfortable, making it like fit properly. You know, that entire front panel. Adding the hanging the spots that needed it. You know, it was just very fun for me to work on all of that.
So the next question is, do you have any tips for beginners? So someone who just sees all these really cool things and thinks, oh, I want to give that a go. I want to get one of these really cool cards. If I get one of these really cool little cards for participating, or if I'm lucky, get something more. What kind of things, or just hang out with all these cool people, because it seems like every time we get together, we have fun. Yes, but we have fun.
A lot of fun, yeah.
Honestly, any tips for beginners?
So the approach that I had with it, I think actually works really, really well, which is find a card or find something that you want to cosplay that looks very cool, but it's in theory should be easy, but is something that will still present you with needing to get new skills, right? Like I had to, like with Young Dash, it's visibly it's pretty simple, right? Like she's got shorts, she's got a corset, and then she's got like some armor bits, like, which is, if you want to put details in, that's where you can go ham and like make it really, really, really look good. But like it's still, I had to learn how to work with foam, which is a very good skill, and is something that definitely will apply forward to future cosplays. I was learning a little bit about electronics, which is again something very, very good and useful and can be applied to a lot. I mean, Max Ferocity is the perfect example of that. She was cosplaying Hala, and she still found a way to utilize that and incorporate it and make it look like just enhance her cosplay, And the 3D, like the first foray into 3D modeling there, like just something like simple that has areas where you can put a lot of detail into, and you can learn a lot of different skills and everything. But and then just keep practicing, keep trying, keep finding ways to push yourself, see where you can make things okay, I have this prop, maybe if I did it this way it could be a little bit better, and so here, stuff like that.
So coming to the questions from the community in Discord, this was a big question that everybody was just talking about, and so this one is like, how the F? So that pretty much sums it up, because a lot of people were like Elaine here, she said, like, how did the fire work? And she said that your cosplay is beautiful. So she is part of the Pitch Perfect League and also a cosplayer. So she wanted to know, how did you do the fire? How did it work? And also, that's where we're standing. How did the fire work?
That did seem to be the burning question that everybody had for this one cosplay. That was actually one of the driving reasons that we wanted to do Kano. Besides the fact that my partner or my friend terrorizes local gaming communities with Kano, we wanted to come up with an impressive way to show off Kano's flames, and we spent a few weeks going back and forth about how we could make it the most impressive we could. We thought about using like electronic components to create dragons, and we thought about practical effects to make a flaming dragon. We were looking at like fireworks and other things that we could use and other fake fire effects. But at the end of the day, we wanted to get the most realistic bang for our buck that we could, and that would be to find a safe way to use real fire. What we ended up doing was scouring how flame effects are done on film and how they're done on stage by magicians. So there's a lot of research into pyrotechnic effects for live shows. And what we came up with was a small canister about yay big. Was clipped to a harness on my back with a surgical tube that led from the fuel source into the palm of my hand. And there was a simple nozzle that was shot directly up, based purely on the pressurized contents of the canister. The canister itself was about the size, it was about that big. And we loaded it with a pressurized butane mix. So it was completely safe, and we kept the entire build incredibly simple. The way it works is you pull on the surgical tube, and it releases the fuel. When it comes out of the nozzle in my hand, we needed to ignite it. We investigated several different ignition sources. It was really important, the first and foremost, that this was safe and it could not hurt anybody. I work for TSA, so it was like, okay, we need to make sure that this is safe, and we're not creating a weapon. It is just, or a device that can actually start a fire. The individual components are all completely safe. And you can see here, the live flame was actually several millimeters off my hand, so I felt a little bit of warmth from it, and that's about all. The fire is actually quite cold, and the butane mix and all the components you can see are quite safe. The actual flame was actually quite cold, and it made sure that once the flame was quenched, it could not spread once it met with the air because of that. The fire, as you can see, like the flame is a few millimeters off of our hand, and we did not need any sort of protection for it at all. We then had to solve the problem of ignition, and it was important to keep the igniter separated from the fuel source and the flame effect entirely. We initially tried a piezoelectric igniter that we built, which uses a spring to launch a piece of metal into a quartz, and it creates a spark that could then project a high voltage electric arc towards the base of the nozzle. But this one was, but when building it, it proved to be unreliable. What we ended up doing was having my friend stand off stage with an electric wand lighter that was used for barbecues mostly. I would deploy the fuel and he would light it before I went on stage or before I took any photos. When in isolation, the fuel source is actually nitrogen cooled and with a live frame can briefly give off a very impressive fire, but it goes out pretty quick.
Yeah. And the next question is kind of related to this. And were the hidden tanks uncomfortable? Now, you said they weren't too big. You weren't holding too much gas, right?
Yeah, it was going to be enough for about, I think, 45 seconds total of time of ignition. Yeah, it was very small. I had a harness on underneath the one of my shirts.
Yeah.
No, I had it over the shirt for this one since my shirt was see-through, so it was like, okay, it's fine. So the tank itself was clipped to the back right there. That wasn't uncomfortable in the slightest. It was very light, pretty easy. The rest of the cosplay is what made it was genuinely what was uncomfortable, right? Because I had the shoulders on, I had like this big stuff on my upper body. I could move my arms like this, maybe. It was like a couple of times trying to get things on. Yeah, the staff itself was kind of heavy, and I had like a fogging system on my arm for the staff too, so that way the Dragon's Head kids few spoke. And I mean, all of that was like weighty and stiff, and I was just but the stuff for the actual fire effect was very lightweight, very very easy to use.
So here's the Henrik question. What was your favorite wizard and why? Is it Guardian instead?
Actually, it's Illusionist. I think, when it comes down to it, I believe Illusionist absolutely trumps both of those matchups.
Yeah, and then we've got Georgia, who I helped to dress as an Icelander, and she's also made a coronet peak. She also was the low weight. I mean, that's kind of a question for your roommate who kind of likes Kano. So.
Who's the best wizard and why is it Icelander? Well, I say Icelander's the best wizard because she kept Fi pretty much out of the meta for a little while, with one exception, one very notable world's exception, but otherwise, please keep Fi's away from me.
She keeps the Fi's away because they're very bad for Dromite.
They're so bad. Oh man. I bumped into one at one of the events that I was playing, and I was like, this is the first time I've ever fought this matchup. I have heard rumors of how bad it is, but I buckle down. We're gonna try our best here. Yeah. I got super lucky for a turn 1 tumble tie to break Mask of Momentum, and I still got my butt kicked. I was like, what's happening here? Why?
Why do you get all this go again business?
Like literally just, okay, dump hand. Oh, you're not hitting me with anything meaningful. Dump hand. Oh, you have dragons. Oh, you know what I can do? This. You have no dragons anymore. Also, you just took 10 damage.
Ouch.
It was close, but it was also not close. Like if it's a close game with 5, it's not close. If you're not up by like 12, you're losing.
You felt like you were participating, but it wasn't an uphill battle that you didn't get to, unfortunately. So Essa asked, this was actually a Twitter question. Unfortunately, only one. I hope to get more again, but that's fine. So Essa asks, why Kano? What was your process behind the build? And do you plan to make more cosplays in the future? If so, do you have plans? So there's a lot of questions here. Why Kano?
So after my cosplay at US Nats, we were like, okay, that was a lot of fun. That was super exciting. We want to do another one. So yeah, my friend was really, really into Kano. He has fantastic deck. And we were just kind of sitting there, and he was looking at it one day, and he's like, wouldn't it be really cool if we made Kano, but used actual fire effects? And we're like, yes, Yes, it would be. And like the very next week, pretty much, we got started on that. Um, started working on it. Yeah. The process behind our build was to go slow and plan things out carefully. We were, going bit by bit, looking at the art, just going, okay, break this into small chunks. How are we going to do the shoulders? How are we going to do the effects? How do we do the staff, the sash? Going through all of it, making sure that we had an actual game plan going into everything. Because winging it on any of these would not have ended up nearly as well. So just going slow, like drafting up, okay, this is what the shoulders are going to look like. Here's our pattern for her that we're going to use for the foam. Okay, we found this other component. Let's modify it. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. Just making sure we went slow and took our time and had a very solid game plan into everything that we were working on. I do plan to do more cosplay in the future. This is definitely too much fun to give up. I don't have anything specific in mind at the moment, but whatever I do next after this, I would like to do more sewing projects. Maybe work on actually figuring out how to make the thing myself instead of finding the thing and modifying it into what we need it to be. The lighting and the practical effects have all been super duper fun. So I would like to find something that incorporates those more, dabble a little bit more with electronics. Maybe figure out like some other smoke effects or things like that we can use. Something fun, something else flashy, maybe not quite this flashy, but something flashy still. Just, something along those lines.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what you make. It's going to be awesome. So what are you looking forward to in Fab? So in general, like, are you going to nationals in the US? Because like that's your guys' major cosplay event. Because unfortunately most of the callings are at like other there's lots of things happening, so there's not usually the opportunity to have a cosplay competition at a lot of the US callings. So
that is true.
That's your guys' premier event, right?
We haven't quite figured all of that out yet. We have a couple of events that we were maybe looking at going to. So it's going to be a thing of, if we are going to something for a cosplay event, best thing to do would be to just wait and see if it gets announced. We're a little bit restricted on travel, but calling the US Nats would be a lot of fun to go to. At any of these callings or battle hardens, if they do have a cosplay contest, that would be fun to set a goal for and to go to. But yeah, no, I do very much like the designs from the new heroes that they announced, though.
Yeah, there's a lot more skin than I'm used to in those ones too. But you think I might dip my toe in. I mean, for my Lexi, I wore a bodysuit because I wasn't sure about my stomach. But these guys are like got up to like.
You got full stuff going on there, but
full side things. But
they both look like they would be a lot of fun to do, though.
Yeah, they're beautiful costumes and beautiful, And I am looking forward to pre-release because it's going to be some fun characters to play. I mean, I want to play all three. I want to play all three.
Same here. I'm like, as an illusionist main, I'm so excited about Enigma, but also New looks like she's going to be really fun and also possibly slightly broken in some matchups. And then, Zen getting Crouching Tiger support is awesome. It's going to be really cool. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it.
It's going to be so much fun. Now, do you have any pieces you want to show off? I'm going to probably put you on main screen by yourself as I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I've got
that way we can see better.
Yeah, I've got a couple. Let me.
Yeah.
Number one that I think everybody wanted to see was this bad boy. Our Crucible of Etherweave that we hand sculpted, or we sculpted it in 3D. There's the secret to how we made the fog effects work. We had a hole drilled here. We got some bendy straws and we made sure that they fit into our fog machine. So it would, the fogger connected here, and it would travel up here, and you can see the other straw in here. Thankfully, while he's upright, you can't see that. You can't see the straw. But yeah, the cruise. This one was a lot of fun. It did not fully get put together until like the week before we left, because we were still trying to figure out how to do the fog effects. This was the simplest way that we landed on, so we didn't have to do too much damage, because by that point making a new head would have been kind of complicated and crazy. Yeah, he's a little bit hefty. He's like, I think 5-10 pounds, which is fine until you're holding it for like 2 hours. Then I have over here as well, I'll put this down so carefully here. And then we've got a close-up of the shoulder pieces that we made here. These we spent like a week and a half on. My skirt's there too, but a little bit of a, oops. There we go. A little bit of a closer look at those. Just with the detailing and the painting, the fact that we were actually able to get it heat shaped into good shapes. These were a lot of fun to work on. We were really proud of how they turned out. We were like starting to be like, okay, we can see the shape now. We can see the paint job of now. Like, these are going to turn out awesome. Velcro here was how we attached the front collar piece. So that way it was removable, and I'm not like wrestling and trying to like do weird things getting in and out of the shoulder pieces. That made it a lot easier to do. And then I will show this one off a little bit more. I do still have my little dash gun from my first cosplay. I'll show this one a little bit more closely. So yeah, we had just a regular light bulb there for the initial lighting effect. Long cord that was a pain in the butt to get painted, but we did it. EOL wire was wrapped around it. Just added a little bit of color unity with all the other blue that she had going on. This was 3D painted and hand sanded, and we actually painted it and then did wood stain on it, and it turned out looking so good with all the wood stain. Our Teklo Industries logo that we designed and put on there, and a little bit of foam work on top to make the gun actually match her art instead of just doing the Teklo plasma pistol. We're like, okay, we should do what's actually on the card. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, these were all a lot of fun to work on.
Amazing.
I will turn that light off. That is very bright. This one's not as bad, but yeah, these were all so much fun to work on. Yeah, James was very, very, very impressed when he saw the crucible. He was like, "Oh, this turned out really good." And it was very nice seeing the end result of all of our hard work on that one. Like, so many people were like, "Oh, that's so cool."
And yeah, and we could see it from here. Like, because the cosplay competition was kind of like early morning for me, I was kind of waiting for pictures, and yeah, when I finally saw the pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And that's why I had to contact you as soon as possible to see if you would be part of this. I've been enjoying watching all of the pieces that you've been dropping on Twitter to let people know. And I was like, oh, come on, save some for our interview.
I will give you some of it. I promise. Nothing.
But no, you did an absolutely brilliant job. Thank you so much for your time and being here. Do you have any socials? I know you recently doing, that you'd like to share, and
yeah, I started sharing recently on Twitter. My handle is at Zeni Beanie, ZEENIE BEANIE. It's a fun nickname that someone gave me. So I've been posting on there, sharing some little stories and everything. Just little bits and pieces here and there. I'll probably keep doing that. I've got some behind the scenes dash stuff still too to share.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the best place to find me.
That's the best place to find you. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what things you bring in the future, and I hope you enjoy the new set. It's going to be wonderful. Not all of us can get to Japan, but isn't it wonderful that it's going to be in Japan as well? I met a beautiful cosplayer from Japan, and I'm very, very sure she's from Osaka, so I'm sure she'll be so happy to be hosting whoever can make it there. So thank you so much, and have a great day, everybody, wherever you are.